For nearly 50 years, Americans were banned from traveling to Cuba, and as you are aware, that ban has been lifted, and U.S. citizens are now free to visit Cuba. Recently, a group of student athletes from CUNY Athletic Conference made a trip as ambassadors of goodwill. Joining me to share his experience is junior soccer player from Brooklyn College, Kevin Bresnan. Kevin, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
How you feel being an ambassador? How you feel hearing that?
Yeah, I didn't really know I was an ambassador before that. It was fun though. I mean, I guess I'm an ambassador.
When you first heard you were picked to make this trip, describe how you felt, and when did you hear you were going on this trip? Was it early this winter, or?
Well, I actually heard about it last June, and I heard that they're doing like a big trip to Cuba, and I started bugging my AD, and they told me in November, and I didn't really believe it at first. I was like, okay. So I tried to stay calm, got my passport, because I haven't left the country since I was, in middle school. And and then, got everything together. It was originally planned for the winter break, around like late December, just after Christmas. But then they told me spring break, and, and I didn't go to the first meeting to talk about it, so I didn't really get debriefed about anything until like a week before we left. And we got all our CUNY gear and whatnot, and and I knew nothing. So going in, I didn't know any of the kids who have already met people in January, and it was really nice to meet them.
How many students went from
16.
each school?
16. One from each CUNY school, junior college and senior college.
And there were various athletes, or basketball players, soccer players?
Yeah, there were
volleyball?
Yeah, volleyball, cross country, basketball, soccer. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone.
The first city you hit, you also told me you went to Havana, Cuba. Mm-hmm. You also Bay of Pigs and Trinidad. Bay of Pigs, historical significance. Khrushchev, Kennedy, Missiles of October, you go into all of that, and you have the Bay of Pigs. And you said you swam?
Yeah, it was really interesting to imagine. Like, the Bay of Pigs is massive. Mm-hmm. And when we were swimming in it, we realized, we're one of the first Americans swimming in it for, 50-something years. And it's beautiful water, and it's like got a beautiful coral reef, but it's just like, it's very strange.
Let's go over that shot. Look at that picture there. Explain that to me.
That was us the first day we got there, or not the first full day. And we went to this.
Is this in Havana?
Yeah, this is in Havana.
Mm-hmm.
They have this big Spanish fortress, and we watched the sunset from there. It's very, very beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And also, did you get a chance to compete also? I know you guys are playing each other here, but did you guys get a chance to compete against locals, high schools, or colleges in each of the cities? So
we visited Havana University, mm-hmm. but we didn't really get to play with locals until we got to Trinidad, and we went to a small town, and we played with some young kids, maybe 8 to 12. And they loved it. We gave out a lot of shirts and gave out some balls, and we played pickup soccer, pickup volleyball, basketball, baseball even,
You said culturally, though, you said you saw kids out in Trinidad. They were playing soccer, but they were playing soccer barefoot.
Yeah.
How did that affect you? I guess you have no reason to complain about if your sneakers are a little tough on your feet now, huh?
Yeah, every time, my cleats are too tight or whatever, it's just like, yeah. But these kids were playing barefoot on fields with glass and rock and really awful fields. And we were just playing with 2 bricks as goals. And they loved it. They enjoyed every second of it, and it kind of makes you think to not complain, especially to be able to play collegiate soccer it's a dream, and it's a pleasure. I can even play on a turf field or with full uniforms provided for me, so it's very different. Did you
feel when you traveled to there that you went back in time to a degree? Especially with the automobiles. If we can get a shot of some of these automobiles, right? Some of these automobiles were from the 50s. Look here, right?
Yeah.
You're here in Florida.
Yeah.
This is downtown?
Yeah, this is Old Havana. That's actually the bar that Hemingway used to go to. Mm-hmm. every day.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it was
Right? Go ahead.
it was crazy just because
Etzel.
yeah, it was crazy just because they had it's like the cars, the Wi-Fi, which is a strange thing for a lot of us.
The cars had Wi-Fi?
No, the cars and like the Wi-Fi.
Oh, the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So it was like, whoa.
It was just like we weren't used to it, and like some people had some issues, adapting to the Wi-Fi situation, but they ended up enjoying it.
Right.
It's like you have to buy these Wi-Fi cards that cost way too much money, and then the cars and everything. It's just you had to like give up your American life for 10 days, and it was nice. It was refreshing.
And when I look at these cars, I mean, these cars are from the 50s. I want to go over the cars real quick. When you look at the cars, I mean, they kept these cars up for, 50 years, man? I mean, so they have some great mechanics down there.
Yeah, so the thing is that they can't get anything from, any other, like, normal European country, so they get everything from Russia and China. And a lot of these cars have, like, Hyundai engines. And I saw a guy with, like, Transformers pedals. And they're all just, like, they're very resourceful with it, and they just put whatever really works. Yeah, and they have, like, of the old cars, the only new cars they have are, like, Russian or...
Okay. Martin Luther King. Let's pull up Martin Luther King again. We have Obama there.
Yeah.
But Martin Luther King, that was significant, too, when you saw that, because he's appreciated in a foreign land.
Yeah, the only two Americans that they seemed to actually like were Hemingway and Martin Luther King. And it's kind of unbelievable that they had anything. They had statues and books of both of them. And it's just kind of, it's interesting that that's what it comes over.
As an athlete, as an ambassador also, because, hey, man, you were the first. You were the first of many to make this trip. How has this trip changed your life at all? And maybe you have grasped, feel the real significance of this trip yet. But are you starting to feel like, man, this was real important? Something that I did was historical.
Yeah.
First time in 50 years.
Yeah, no, it's very, very important, I think. It's hard to grasp right now. It's only been like a week and a half. But, I mean, it was a great time, and I really want to go back. But it was just such a weird time in Cuba because, it's never really going to be like that again. As American tourism comes in, maybe there'll be a Burger King next time I go. And that'll change a lot of like how the country's run. But I think it's really unbelievable that we got the opportunity to go. And I'd love to go back. It's a beautiful place. But it's hard to think about.
And did Zach enjoy himself?
Zach had a good time. I think that's why.
That's how he is. There's Zach right there.
Yeah, I think Zach chose Cuba for a good reason. He had to scout it out last spring. I'm sure it was rough on him. But yeah, I don't really know how that happened. Zach was having a great time everywhere we went. He had a good time in the Bay of Pigs. He had a good time here. Even at when we played soccer, he was taking pictures, playing with the kids. Zach's a character.
Thanks for coming, Kev.
Thanks for having me.
Being an ambassador of Cuba.
Thank you.
And sure we'll be in touch.
Sounds good.
All right.